Coming up on the channel, we've got an expedited review for Transformers Reactivate, Soundwave, and Optimus Prime on Way I Got It Figured.
The way I got it figured.
What's up, figure fans? Way I Got It Figured, back with another Transformers review. This time we're looking at the Transformers Reactivate, Optimus Prime, and Soundwave figures. I looked up and found these guys in Gamestop, thanks to my buddy Phil over at Crossfire Collectibles. So rushed out, grabbed them, wanted to get them up quickly and get a review out there in the world. Also, because these are amongst the last Transformers I'm going to get, in 2023, I want to have them in hand for consideration for top 10 Transformers figures of 2023. So, I'm not going to split hairs. The star of the show for me was definitely the Optimus Prime. I did pre-order this on Hasbro Pulse. I was always expecting to get it. BMAC said that it was supposed to be out by the end of the year, and here it is. Although it still hasn't changed dates on Hasbro Pulse or anything like that, but it doesn't matter. As soon as I bought this one, I canceled my Hasbro Pulse pre-order, so I don't need two. So here you go. And as you can see, got some nice art renders of Optimus and Soundwave. You got some nice artwork here. The Soundwave starting off, of course, and Optimus Prime. And the Reactivate game, I don't know all that much about it. I just know that it sort of takes place in a somewhat future time where the Autobots and Decepticons were sort of shut down by the Quintessons, and now they're fighting the Quintessons. There's a nice side render of Optimus. Then on the back, you've got your steps to transformation. 37 for Optimus Prime, 15 for Soundwave. Soundwave, as I guess, is running more like a deluxe. Optimus Prime is definitely a Voyager. And then you got some in-game kind of artwork. They don't exactly look like they're fighting. But again, I'm not 100% up on the plot of the game yet. I just know the very basics. However, action figure is an action figure, and if it's a really good action figure, I'm gonna want it. So this Optimus Prime was hitting on all the feels, so I wanted to grab them, get impressions, and of course Soundwave. I don't want to neglect my main man Soundwave either. So we've looked at the package. We're gonna get them out and see what we can see with these figures. Here is Optimus Prime and Soundwave, or Soundwave and Optimus Prime out of the box. And you can tell straight away where the money went, clearly into Optimus Prime. Not to say that Soundwave is a bad figure or anything, but the bulkiness, the beefiness of Optimus is quite apparent just from a basic glance. We'll start with Soundwave. Soundwave does look cool. Of course, his face is a little altered, but it's definitely Soundwave. They seem almost like halfway between G1 and Movieverse designs, probably what I would say. Soundwave, of course, isn't transforming into a tape deck. He's transforming into a off-road vehicle. But he looks cool. The articulation seems to be on point for as normal. He even has wrist articulation, which you don't get all the time on a sort of deluxe kind of dude. I'm sure they stressed the faithfulness to the video game designs. And of course, he has the ankle rockers that we've been getting for a little while now. Got some ports. Stick various things so you can, of course, give them shoulder cannon, and it does articulate up and down, which is cool, and it does take a blast effect. So even though it's a slight departure from, you know, Soundwave that you know, get him in a very nice Soundwave pose. And he has that Soundwave look. Doesn't appear like his, oh, let's see. Oh, his head, so his head goes up. Part of a transformation, but it doesn't look like his chest opens for, yeah, so his chest doesn't open for like Ravage or Laserbeak or anything like that. It's just part of the transformation, which we'll get into later. But there you go, Soundwave, standard Transformers articulation for deluxe. Little bit more with the wrists, leg swivels. His head is on a ball joint, so he does look up and down. So yeah, pretty cool alternate take on Soundwave. Now, moving on to Optimus Prime. He is a big, beefy robot. He is large and in charge. And it appears like in the game, you know, his hands are gray, which always kind of bums people out. When there's, you know, the gang molding aspect where his hands have to be on the sprue, so they're gray, like the Earthrise Optimus was before they painted them, knowing that people were going to complain. But it appears that his hands are gray or silver or whatever you want to call them in the game itself, which thus makes this screen accurate. So there's that. But when you look at him, all of the hollowness, all of the gaps have been very well hidden away. I would venture to guess that his engineering is still, you know, the deep skeleton of this figure is still the Siege / Earthrise Optimus Prime. That would be my, you know, my guess. You can mold the parts around anything, but the engineering that creates the figure is still very similar. From an articulation standpoint, though, he is pretty good. Like, you know, you got your 360-degree waist rotation. Not really encumbered by the truck parts here. Everything folds up very nicely. He of course has absolute requirement of the Autobot matrix of leadership at this point. And the cool thing about it is it's the same Autobot matrix of leadership we've been getting since Earthrise. I think that's the first time the matrix showed up. Yeah, Earthrise. So, you know, it's very cool. Very, very excellent. This figure is easily exactly what I expected. So far, I haven't even really messed with it yet. The laser rifle, ion blaster, it's a laser. It'll always be the laser rifle to me. Looks amazing. Looks like it takes a blast effect, which we'll get into. You know, of course, Optimus can do his Transformers the movie pose and more. Looks up, looks down. And he's a little bit bigger. That was one of the things that struck me just from the package. Like, he looks large. He looks really big. He's a little bit bigger than the Earthrise figure that he's sort of the grandson of at this point. I would call him the grandson because, well, Siege is the actual daddy, but I would call this the grandson because even the Bumblebee movie Optimus Prime is taking a lot of his engineering from Siege and Earthrise. But he's awesome. He's great. He's definitely Optimus Prime, and there's not a lot of flaws that I can just sort of nitpick with this guy right out of the box. This is a great set. So, you know, Soundwave is awesome, and Optimus Prime is even more awesome, which you would expect. And then, of course, he's got his Energon axe that you just fit onto his hand and, you know, twist his wrist to put on there. Gun kind of free floats in his hand a little bit, but that's okay. Yeah, this guy's great. This is an excellent figure. It's everything I thought it was going to be in terms of a robot mode Optimus Prime. We're going to get into the alt modes here soon. But yeah, there you go. Optimus and Soundwave. We'll get them into alt mode and check them out next. Here are Soundwave and Optimus Prime in their vehicle modes, and their transformations are deceptively simple. Little tricks to them, but not so ridiculous. Fairly satisfying transformations. Of course, you can, you know, plug in Soundwave's weapons on there. Optimus has slots Has a slot for his laser rifle. Put it there if you want to have it on his vehicle mode. You know, they look cool. Soundwave rolls well enough. Optimus Prime rolls well enough. And they look pretty cool. This truck mode looks to me very evocative of the IDW, original IDW continuity, which took place like a little bit in the future. You know, he transformed into kind of a semi-truck, but it was somewhat futuristic. Maybe not quite as futuristic as this, but it gives me that vibe. So there you go. Pretty nice. And as for Soundwave, you know, he basically just folds in on himself to become a truck. And it's a pretty nice vehicle. These are cool. I like it. I guess this is some sort of communications array. But it's nice, functional. Can put his weapons on there. Nice paint apps here. Pretty good. Pretty good. All right, we're gonna get him transformed back and do some comparisons. For comparisons, I thought it would be obvious, you know, quite obvious what the comparisons would be. So I dug these guys out. We have the Netflix Earthrise Soundwave here, and they really made this Soundwave a pretty large Voyager. He's shorter than his Voyager self, but not so ridiculously shorter that, you know, it doesn't make sense. And then over here, of course, we have two Optimus Primes. And like I said, Reactivate Optimus Prime is just a little bit larger than Earthrise Optimus Prime. And hey, maybe this is part of the game plan for, you know, something that sort of I've found to be controversial several times. Mark Mayer has made the comment that he wanted to bring Soundwave up to blaster size, and the Kingdom / Legacy blaster figure is like literally the same height as Optimus, which is technically incorrect, right? So at one point I did belatedly think, well, maybe if they made Optimus Prime and Megatron a little bit tighter, a little bit taller, it would sort of help me out with my, you know, scale kind of comparison thing. Blaster and Soundwave are not the same height as Megatron and Optimus Prime. And of course this Soundwave is not, but he feels like that's too small. But in the cartoon, Soundwave was the exact same height as Starscream in the jets. So, you know, I don't see where. I still think that ultimately they made Blaster a little bit too big, but not ridiculously out of range for what he's supposed to be. I mean, there are scenes in Transformers, we all know in the cartoon, sometimes the sizing was inconsistent, and there are times when Blaster is like the same height as Rodimus or the same height as Optimus Prime. So, you know, I can't 100% say, well, he's not the same size, but the overall intent is he's the same size as Soundwave, and Soundwave is not as tall as Optimus and Megatron. So that's all I'm gonna say about that. But you can see for yourself that this Optimus is just that much larger. So I brought in Blaster for, you know, scale purposes. So here's Blaster and Optimus Prime, Earthrise. He's like the same height. But now, next to this Optimus, he's more or less the correct size. So it's not like they had to make Optimus like hilariously larger, because he's not. He's a little bigger, but he's not, you know, retardedly big, for lack of a better word. You know, he's not out of scale, I'll put it that way. So there you go. So I'm going to move on now to final thoughts. Final thoughts on Transformers Reactivate Soundwave and Optimus Prime 2-pack from Hasbro. I mean, you know, I don't know. I was sold on these guys as soon as they showed them. And they definitely did not disappoint once I got them out of the package. They're exactly what I thought I was in for. As you can see, as I said, their weapons are fully compatible with all your War for Cybertron blast effects. And, you know, I don't know what else I would ask for. Maybe a trailer. I am pleased as punch to finally get an Optimus, you know, a main Optimus Prime to display, you know, to display a review on my channel. He's a character that, while he's appeared in videos, you know, there hasn't been an Optimus that I've wanted to buy up to this point since I've been doing reviews. So here's the first Optimus, the first of at least 4 that it seems like we'll be getting between this one and 3 in 2024 that I'll be getting. So, you know, I have several characters that have, you know, more than one review, and Optimus not having any is kind of a weird thing. But here they are. As I said, I'm going to give them a 10 out of 10. Recency bias be damned. You can bet that I'll be putting these on my top 10 Transformers of 2023 list. And these figures are both exemplary. They're both examples of why I wait until January of 2024 to do those lists, because you could buy a figure at the last minute and, you know, it'd be worthy of being on the top 10 list. I mean, you know, I do guard against recency bias, but I just don't think there's anybody that can credibly have this figure in hand and then say, yeah, that's not a figure that should be on the list. I mean, I wouldn't believe it. The Hasbro team just did their draft that they sort of ripped off of the Marvel Legends team, and these guys weren't on it. But of course, they have to keep track of a whole lot more figures than we do. And I'm pretty sure it's an oversight that these guys didn't make it on the team, on their list. I just don't see how it didn't. So, so yeah, they're definitely going to be on mine. I'm going to stop there. 10 out of 10. Soundwave, 10 out of 10. Optimus Prime, 10 out of 10. Both of the packs. If you're a Transformers fan, you like really great Transformers figures, you cannot go wrong getting this set, period. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this video. I pushed it to the head of the list, ahead of everything, including the HasLab His Tank. So hint, hint, that's coming. There's even more Transformers videos coming, but I just jumped everything to get these guys up because I was so excited to get them, and they did not disappoint. If you're new to the channel, you know, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. What do you think about these guys? Will you be picking them up? Will you be skipping them? Are you going to play the video game? I'm not sure I'm going to play the video game. I don't have like a current system, but the action figures are top notch. Till the next video, I'll see everybody soon, and everybody stay safe. Peace.
The way I got it figured.